What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy DR, and in today's video we have a back workout video. Few people have been asking me for back tips and asking me to make a back video, so it's been some time in the making, but yeah, it's finally here. I'm going to give you some tips on targeting your back to get a fuller, more complete look on your back. All right, so when we think about back, when most people think about back, they think about the lats, right? Lats, and more lats. But there's so much more to the back musculature than just the lats. There's the rhomboids, teres major, teres minor, infraspinatus, supraspinatus, your traps, your traps, your lower back, your spinal erectors, which is super important as well to be strong, to have good stability overall. So there's a whole lot going on behind here that we don't pay attention to. And I think a big contributor to that is our back is behind us. It's not a mirror muscle that we can see in the mirror, look and see your arms and see your chest and stuff like that, right? It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. So we overlook a lot of parts on our back. But a lot of those parts, or all of those parts, are super important. Take your traps, for example. We think of the traps as just this chunky piece of meat right here, right? But our traps attach the base of our skull and go down to our mid back. And our traps have a lot of important functions. So upper trap, mid trap, lower trap, okay? So the mid trap and lower trap are not only important for aesthetics to give us that thick mid back, but also very important for shoulder retraction and shoulder depression. All right, so these muscles in general help our shoulders to be healthy, help them to function well, and enable us to perform optimally when we do any other exercise, like a pushing exercise or a pulling exercise, whatever it is that we use our shoulders for. So yeah, a lot of important muscles back there. I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that will not single them out and isolate them, because you really cannot isolate any one part of your back, but place more emphasis on one part more than the other. But the good thing with all back exercises, basically all of your back is going to be worked, but you can emphasize one part or another, you know, by doing different things. So let's go. All right, guys, so if you have this machine at your gym, you should be using it. All right, so it's a pull-down machine, but I'm going to focus on my mid upper back on this workout, right? So we're talking about the mid traps and your rhomboids. So these muscles are located in your mid back, right? And I talked about your back thickness earlier. And if you want that mid back thickness, you're going to want to do these movements that bring those shoulder blades as close together as possible so it could hit that center of your back, causing a good peak contraction. What I want to do, what I'm focusing on is, I have this seat at a height where when I contract, when I pull my arms back, that my arms are at like a 45-degree angle. Notice my arms are not like this, right? That will hit more of like my red L's. With this 45-degree angle, I'm coming in, coming down, chest up, squeeze, right? And I can feel that immediately in the middle of my back. So that's how you get into the middle of your back, right? You need to squeeze as much as possible and have your shoulder blades come together as much as possible. All right, so I'm gonna do a first set. So chest up, squeeze, boom. 2, stretch, 3, stretch, 5. All right, guys, so a next workout for your mid upper back is the T-bar row. Now I rather do this with my chest supported. That takes away the stabilization that I have to do with my lower back. But this one is not supported and we're just gonna have to make do. Now what I like to do is, I like to stand, right? Leave all of my weight on my heels, right? And then pull in. So up and in. See that? Boom, that squeeze right there. I immediately feel that. Of course, my lat is going to come into play, but I also feel my mid-back contracted. As I said, you're not going to be able to isolate any one part and not work the other part. And if you see my elbows, I'm trying to drive them as far back as I can, or bring my shoulder blades as close together as I can. Big squeeze. Let it hang. Big stretch. If you don't feel this thing in your mid back, something's wrong, because immediately I feel it. And because these muscles are not used to being worked properly, you're going to feel it really quickly. All right, once they get activated, once they get fired up, you are going to feel it. You have no choice. I'm not trying to use any huge scientific words. I'm just trying to put this in layman's terms so like a normal lifter can understand what I'm saying. All you have to do is try to bring, it's kind of like you're trying to give yourself a hug this way. All right, so as far back as possible, your shoulder blades are going to come close to each other, and that's the only way you're going to get into that thick mid-back area. Okay, so moving on to the hammer strength row. I love this machine. Actually, sometimes I put the seat all the way down like this and I stand, and I'll show you why. So before I do this, I know a lot of people consider protraction on a workout like this to be bad, right? Protraction, I mean on the stretch, on the eccentric, I exaggerate it a bit, right? And then I pull back. Some people categorize that as being bad, but that's not bad at all. So I'm actually taking my muscles through a full range of motion. And I'm doing it safely for me. You just have to not be reckless with it, right? So on this machine, there are like a few handles on there. I could either go up here, I could either go here, which would activate more of my lats, right? This would activate more of my rear delts, teres major, stuff like that, okay? And this is going to activate more of my mid-back. We're focusing on mid-back once again with this workout, okay? So I'm standing back here. All right, chest up, but on the eccentric, I'm stretching like this. Squeeze, stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze. Some things are going to be unorthodox and against the rules, but one word of advice for you: you have to find what works for you. All right, I'm big on science, literature, and research and all of that, but if you're doing an exercise and you connect with it, mind-muscle connection is on point, and you can tell that it works for you, and you can feel it in the part that you actually intend to hit, then yeah, go with that, bro. Like, a lot of the best bodybuilding trainers in the world use unorthodox styles that you won't see in any textbook or in any piece of science literature to say, hey, this is the way to do it. But it works because you have to play around with hand placement and body placement to kind of target different parts of the body. All right, trial and error. So some of the things might look a little weird, but for me, they work. Yeah. This one kind of is focused on your lats. So it's not going to isolate any one part of the back, but it's going to place more emphasis on your lats, right? This one, where you have your arms at like a 90-degree angle when you contract, right? This one is gonna hit more of your rear delts. When you go out, like I was holding like this, and you squeeze, this is gonna hit more of your mid back. So yeah, it's like 4 different handles on there. I use all of them.
I do too, but I never knew what they were doing.
Yeah. That's what I was actually saying, right?
Yeah,
with
I was saying I can't go wrong if I do all of them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like with most people do back, but then they don't really understand what parts they're hitting. But yeah, you can't go wrong, because if you use 4 of them, that's a good mindset to have. But yeah, it's good to know what it does as well. All right, man. So the world famous lat pull down, right? Obviously, it is going to emphasize a bit more of your lats. On the pull down, you come pull down from here down to your side, down to your chest, bam, 1, 2. So if you see, my elbows are coming down to my side. All right. Big stretch up here. Make sure you stretch. Chest up and pull. All right. The thing with a lat pull down like this is it will hit your lats, yes, but there are different hand placements. Remember, I told you guys, hand placements and different grips are everything when it comes to working your back. So if you don't do underhand grip, try it for yourself. Because if I go overhand like this, right, like this, my lats, I don't really feel a big stretch on my lats. But if I put my arms out in front of my body like this with an underhand grip, immediately I feel my lats stretching more. Immediately there's a way better stretch on my lats, and that enables, remember, to work a muscle, you have to be able to stretch it in the eccentric motion of the movement, right? So what I like to do is I like to go about shoulder width apart and go up, nice stretch, down, boom, 1, 2. The thing with both of these movements, the contraction ends here at your side. So even if I did this, it ends here. If I did this, it ends here. All right? Now to take the muscle through a peak contraction, let me show you guys a little trick that you can do. I do this with either like a single handle, right? Or you do what we call a rocking lat pull down. So it's a single side rocking lat pull down, all right? Rock to one side, rock at the other side, controlled, rock at one side, rock at the other side. Honestly, I feel this set that I did right here way more than the 2 previous sets combined, okay? So it's a mixture. I'm not saying don't do one of these. I'm not saying don't do one and do the others or whatever it is, but all I'm saying is do a mixture of things. Hand placements, body placements, grips, different grips, all right? So another variation of this is with this single handle right here. Same position, I hold on here, and then 1, 2, 3. So I'm trying to come down and around for a better contraction on the lat. All right, and then get into the other side. 1, 2. All right, guys, so CT cable rows, one of the most popular machines at the gym. And with this one, I am going to focus on my lower lats. This is a good exercise for your lower lats, but I'm going to show you another exercise that is even more optimal than this one, right? So you want to stretch, then roll low. Stretch, drive those elbows back, roll low. 2, 3. Now, your lower lats, right? The fibers in your lower lats don't just run vertically or horizontally. They actually wrap around your body like this, like up and around, right? Okay? So it's not a straight vertical or horizontal line of muscle fibers. It's actually running up and wrapping around, okay? So the best way to hit that kind of muscle fiber orientation would not be with a vertical row like this. So yes, you're gonna hit that lat, but you wanna optimize it. And we can optimize this a bit by changing the position of our body. All right, so some gyms, your gym might have it a high row where the handles are up here, your feet would be up here, and then you roll down. Because as I said, the muscle fibers, the way they run, it would be easier or better to hit it from up to down, right? It just makes sense. So that's what we're gonna do. We don't have a machine, we don't have a high row machine, so we're gonna improvise, and we're going to do it on a normal adjustable cable right here. So I could sit on the floor and then roll down. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically lean over a bit and then drive with my elbows and roll down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's some curvature in my lumbar spine, but that's perfectly fine. That's me keeping my chest up as much as possible. All right, so any body part that you do, you want to try to incorporate a heavier compound movement. So for legs, you want to do squats. For chest, you want to do bench press. For back, you want to incorporate some deadlifts, okay? So deadlifts actually involves engaging the entire back musculature, and basically everything is going to fire up and be engaged during the movement. This is not a deadlift tutorial, but I'm just going to show you the cues that I use to engage the back. So guys, you have to do all of your workouts with intent, not just moving weight to move weight. Like you move the weight and you connect, mind muscle connection, you connect with the weights, right? And you feel what you're doing. So I like to go about inside of shoulder width apart, right? The bar is gonna be like at mid-foot, my arms are gonna be just outside of my legs. And then what I do is I retract my shoulders a bit. So I mimic bending the bar, right? So I'm trying to bend the bar as much as possible. So I do this, right? That way everything is kind of engaged. Back here, everything is firing, and then I come up, all right? Boom, back down. So everything is super tight. And what I'm doing is at the top, I'm actually trying to bring those shoulder blades together. So I'm not just going down with the weight like this and then coming back up and relaxing, right? I'm doing this, I'm coming down, coming back up, I'm squeezing, all right? You might not be able to see it, but in my mind, that's what I'm doing. And it's working because I can feel everything firing back there. And my spinal erectors, so going from ground up, my spinal erectors or my lower back is super engaged. My mid back is engaged. My upper back is engaged. All right, so you definitely want to incorporate deadlifts if you want like a strong back overall, especially like a strong lower back, because your lower back is being used on a deadlift for stabilization. So yeah, you want to incorporate deadlifts. Admittedly, I don't do them enough because I just feel like it's so easy to progressively overload a deadlift and just go heavy that I kind of neglect it. But I mean, I like the movement, so I've made an effort to start back doing it a little more. But it's really good for just overall back development. If you're not doing it like me, or like I used to not do it, you should incorporate it into your routine. All right, so one of my other favorite exercises for the back is bent over dumbbell rows. And I like dumbbells because you can manipulate them. I've spoken about that with chest. And same thing with back. Rowing up, all right? And that's gonna hit the rhomboids. Really gonna hit the rhomboids and the mid trap. And of course, it wouldn't be a back workout if we did not do pull-ups, right? But this workout, we did not do pull-ups, long story. So I'm using a clip from an old workout of mine right here. But yeah, pull-ups, if I could do only one back exercise, it would be pull-ups. Pull-ups is just a great all-around exercise. It helps with your strength and it really hits your entire back. So if you're not doing pull-ups, please start doing pull-ups now. All right, guys, so there you have it. Just a few exercises that I like incorporating into my back routine to focus on different parts of my back. And hopefully you guys can take some of that and incorporate it into your own routine as well. As usual, I appreciate your interaction. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Engage down in the comments. It really helps. It helps the algorithm, as they say. It helps YouTube push my videos out to more people. So I appreciate you guys being engaged, and it actually encourages me to keep pushing out content for you guys. All right, so that being said, this was a good workout. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But until next time, as I always say, stay blessed, stay safe. Peace.